Do 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 do. Tony Neal, Daisy Daisy, Part 1 of 3. Nicolette Buchanan lay on the side of the road, twitching in torment when Jeff Tyson rolled up on his black choach. He made a beeline toward Nicolette's prone form, and I stepped in his way, saying, "She's okay," as he hastened toward his living. "Someone called an ambulance. They're on their way." Jeff simply put his large hands on my narrow shoulders and practically lifted me off the ground, barely slowing in his double-time march to gain access to Nicolette. "Yeah," I exhaled softly, speaking to myself. "Then there's always that." I felt terrible. I'd started cycling 6 years earlier as a means of cheap transportation, bicycling back and forth from my folks' house in Colesville to College Park, Maryland, where I attended UMCP, or to Wheaton Plaza, where I worked. Biking meant I didn't need to spend hours every week working just so I could own a car, a downward cycle of losing proposition if ever there was one, nor beg Mommy and Daddy to borrow their car, a routine that always made me feel like a Marrano during the Spanish Inquisition. So, back in June of 1980, my buddy Jack had picked me up at my folks and driven me to Wheaton Cyclery, where I purchased my first 10-speed. Bike purchased, Jack drove us to work, and after a night serving table, I'd hopped on my bike and driven home, cycling in the after-midnight darkness beneath the streetlights, wearing my waiter's uniform with nothing to illuminate my way save a Barrick-branded headlight attached to my handlebar and a correspondingly ineffectual Barrick taillight bolted to my bike's left seat stay. Other than the 18 months when I'd lived out of state and used a big red Oldsmobile Delta 88 for occasional transportation, I'd cycled back and forth to work and school for 5+ years. I'd sold the 88 when I fled Connecticut, and this spring I'd experienced the joy of riding the back roads from Bonifant Road and New Hampshire Avenue to Columbia, Maryland's Talbot Springs Elementary School, where I had just completed my student teaching. While a lot of my riding was solo transportation, I also used the bike to explore and decompress. 3 springs earlier, I chanced upon a Potomac peddler's ride as I rode and, in an impromptu decision, hopped on the far-reaching bike train. I joined the peddlers soon after, and I'd seen Jeff and Nicolette on a few of the rides I'd been on in northern Montgomery County. It had been the week before when my soon-to-be best man, Jack, and I had been on a peddler's ride that we'd undertaken on my 14-month-old Santana Elan tandem, a kind of sayonara send-off in anticipation of my upcoming end-of-the-month nuptials with Jean. Toward the end of last week's tandem ride with Jack, Nicolette had said, "That looks like a lot of fun. You two do really well on that thing." "Thanks," Jack replied. "Takes a teamwork and a little leap of faith, but I've been riding with Tony on single for years, and we've done small group rides together on the tandem. It can be a little unnerving at times, but it is fun." "I'd love to try it," Nicolette replied with a big grin. I said to her, "That could prove difficult. I'm moving to Atlanta in 2 weeks." "Really? How exciting. Guess my dream will go unfulfilled." "Well, no," I answered, drawing out the no. "We could ride next weekend if you'd like." "Really? That sounds great. I'll give you my number at the end of the ride and we can figure out which ride to do." "Cool," says I, stealing an over-the-shoulder glance at Jeff, her bodybuilder boyfriend. "That should be fun." Jeff scowled.